Good morning, everyone. We are here to talk about the internationalization of Costa coffee to Brazil. So, the Brazil history is deeply enrooted and related to the history of the coffee trade around the world and the development of its economy. So, the coffee was first introduced in the country in the 1700s, and because of its favorable climate and fertile soil, Brazil became the largest producer in the world in less than 100 years. As a result of our introduction, we will now take a look at the macro environment by applying the PESTLE analysis. So first, we will take a look at the political environment. Currently, Brazil has one of the most strict regulations regarding labor protection and also environmental protection. But with the election of the new president in October 2018, the government has already announced that, first, the Ministry of Labor will no longer exist. So this means there will be no protections of the workers' rights. And secondly, there will be a merger of the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment. This means there will be a conflict of interest because most of the people that are working for the Ministry of Agriculture are also the owners of the lands in Brazil. And this means that there will be a big impact on deforestation. Now, we'll take a look at the economical part.
We are going to talk about unemployment rate. According to Focus Economic, in 2016, the unemployment rate was about 11.5%. Then in 2017, it increases to 12.7%. Then the inflation rate out of 2016 was about 6.3%. Then in 2017, it decreases to 2.9%. Then the interest rate out of 2016 was about 13.7%, while in 2017, it decreases to 7.0%. Now the exchange rate out of 2016 was about 3.25 USD. Then in 2017, it increases to 3.31 USD. Then the economic rate out of 2016 also was minus 3.5%. Then out of 2017, it increases to 1.0%.
There is a very strong traditional feature of drinking coffee among Brazilian people. Average consumption volume of coffee per person in Brazil is 5 kilograms. For example, in Italy, this number is only 3.4 kilograms per person. Brazilians appreciate convenience as well, as 62% of Brazilian people are willing to pay up to 50% more for simplification of access to coffee shops. As a matter of fact, coffee production chain is a relevant source of income for hundreds of municipalities, as well as being an important sector in the creation of jobs in the national agriculture. It is responsible for generating more than 8 million jobs, providing income, access to health and education for workers and their families in Brazil. And now we are going to look for environmental analysis.
So then we take a look. An environment in Brazil is comfortable to grow the coffee because like the weather, everything is fine for the coffee bean. But the problem is the climate change. The climate change is make pollution and acid rain as well. In particular, deforestation in Brazil is so terrible because of it affects directly to the field that grow the coffee, and acid rain and pollution, the effect to how we grow the good quality of coffee. So then let's take a look in the last part of technological.
In technological, like implementation of new technology will increase productivity, efficiency and profitability. Use of wider technology, COSTA coffee making better and cheaper. It is productivity, efficiency and profitability in coffee sector. In volatility extraction and concentration. VUCA we have used for coffee bean production and weather. In volatiles, there is an extraction and concentration are performed by solid phase micro extraction of roasted coffee. Uncertainty, measurable and unmeasurable. In uncertainty, there is upon on climate change, farmers are sharing a productive landscape. Complex, matrix of complex. In the complex, there is the link between flavor, components and the sensory properties of coffee. Ambiguity, level of risk. There is level of risk due to weather if there is climate change, so farmers are not sure about the coffee production.
According to the research of hot drinks profile in Brazil, Jacobs Douwe, Três Corações, Nestlé, and Melita held altogether around 45% of the market share for the whole industry. The hot drinks industry has shown continuous and strong growth and is predicted to grow around 7.8% per year during the period of 2016 to 2021. Second, and more important aspect to be considered in the competition scenery is the market share for the niche of coffee shops in Brazil. This research has proved to have some limitations such as one, according to the law for the limited liabilities companies in Brazil, they are not required to prepare and publish the financial statements of cash flows. And the competitors of coffee shops market in Brazil are all set up as limited liability companies, so they are not obliged by the law to publish their own financial statements. Secondly, it's difficult to identify how much profit they are making in as they are all franchises. So the information that we have used comes from the Brazilian Association of Franchising for the analysis, and we will take a look at the number of franchises to understand the size of the market. So first of our rivals would be France Café with 122 franchises. Second, Café do Ponto with 88. Third, Santo Grão with 8. Suplicy Cafés with 18 and Starbucks with 103. Then taking a look at the diversity of the competitors, so despite the various numbers of coffee shops in Brazil, we still have a space in the market that needs to be developed according to the Euromonitor research. The hypermarkets and supermarkets are the biggest rivals of the coffee shops in Brazil. So according to the market analysis industry, they account for 55% of the hot drinks industry. In the market, the structure of the companies are very similar as they are all franchises. Product differentiation. In terms of product differentiation, all the companies, they will be offering a very similar range of products. Cost conditions, so scale economies. The presence of a competitor in Brazil. The biggest concentration of the coffee shops are in São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, but according to the research Tendências do Mercado de Café, other regions such as the northern and south of Brazil are still unexplored by the coffee shops market. Northern Brazil accounts for 22% of the consumption of the hot drinks, in the south for 17%. The concentration of happens in the southeast of Brazil, so Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, Minas Gerais and Vitória states, and it's responsible for 45% of the consumption of hot drinks. Starbucks, the most important competitor in the market, has only stores in São Paulo and Rio, so I believe that this gives us a space for Costa to grow in different states and regions by applying the scales economies and being able to offer this way a cheaper product.
The next we will talk about the threat of the new entry. It's very important because of, if you want to go your friend home or even if you go to travel in another country, you have to know how they live or even how they eat, right? Is it the same? The new entry looks like if you want to invest something in other country, in particular in Brazil, you have to know the nature of the Brazil market first. Because of the people in Brazil, that's like go into COSTA every day, they buy their own coffee and they do it at home. Another one is the local competitor. Actually, the local competitor is the main point when you want to go to invest in business in other country, because you have to know what they did and how to be complete and successful, right? Then the last one is about the distribution, how you will distribute your product to the customer over all the country. Then the essential in distribution into the market is you have to establish an effective logistic.
The coffee's prices mostly are below the average Buyer price sensitivity is low because price as it changed could be unseen according to insignificance comparing to other competitors. Then the price sensitivity is low for the Costa coffee, which makes customer to change it to another brand. High retail rivalry. In a coffee industry, the brand is worthy for customers. But according to Euromonitor research of the year 2015, 41% of people affected by crisis at the Brazil are willing to change the coffee brand for the cheaper one. And that means reduction of buyer power in the case of Costa Coffee, as well-known brand with prices below average. At the same time, because the production of Costa Coffee is mainly sold to single buyer, otherwise buyer purchase is a little quantity, the bargain power of buyers is very low. So, otherwise, the bargain power of buyers are not the main source of competitive threats.
Bargaining power of supplier. Huge level of competition. If there is a huge competition in its industry due to bargaining power but large amount of company, the company will turn into a competitive situation. Huge purchasing power. The production of Costa coffee is mainly sold to single buyer. The bargaining power of buyer is very low. So the bargaining power of supplier and the bargaining power of buyers are not the main source of competitive and threats.
We found out. Now, Coca-Cola, Guarana, acai, bottled water, and tea are the main threats to our business. Now, Guarana and acai are the Amazon fruit drink, which is a traditional drink for Brazilians, and they are being consumed every day in a high quantity. So, for us to be able to avoid the threats in our business, it will be better for us to sell all these products in our store.
Now let's have a look on the SWOT analysis. For the first thing, we'll look for strengths. There was a solid growth in Costa Coffee, which we can see in their financial reports. As well, there is a very strong financial support from the parent company, which is actually Coca-Cola. Also, Costa provides a wide variety of different products in their shops, as well as they have a lot of suppliers in different fields. So, Costa has a great reputation and a very strong brand name among the European market and all over the world. So, then looking for weaknesses, we can say that in Brazil, brand reputation is not that strong compared to other local market competitors. Number of stores outside of Europe is low, and the experience in terms of internationalization is not great as well. So, and also, coffee and other products can be easily copied, so it could be the main weakness. Then we are going to
Opportunity. Market expansion to Brazil and Latin America. Risk desperation. Huge uncertainty on how the economy is going to be after Brexit. In the case, it makes sense to have income from different sources. Partnership with local brands, markets and financial center. Reduction of logistic. Then, as Brazilian consume Brazilian coffee beans, we will be able to utilize local beans in order to reduce the cost of logistic. Also, by having 2 warehouses in the country, we will be able to have next day deliveries, being this way more efficient.
taking Starbucks as a competitive but very similar in terms of service, culture and business coffee house chain as an example of introduction on American-European culture in Brazil market. 9 years after the opening of the first coffee house in Brazil in 2006, Starbucks opens already 100 coffee shops in 2015. That is, in other words, it explained that the speed of 11 coffee shops a year, whereas on the Spanish market, with a culture similar to Brazil Starbucks, opened only 75 stores over 10 years. Based on this, it is possible to predict that Brazilians' perspective, they perceive the idea of opening a network of US or European coffee shops very warmly, which allows Costa Coffee to take share in a Brazilian services market. Talking about inbound and outbound logistics, Costa has close relationship with suppliers in order to lower the cost. And then by centralizing the warehouse, and use an efficient ERP system, in the UK Costa uses the next day delivery system. The same system can be applied in Brazil using local suppliers and concentrating in operation in into warehouses. One should be in state of Bahia for the northern region and one in the countryside of São Paulo, allowing to deliver goods less than in 1 day to states of São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Minas Gerais and Paraná. And by doing this also will reduce the costs of logistics. Then operation. The company owns its roasting facility in the UK to provide roasted coffee beans to European market. In order to reduce cost in logistics in Brazil, a roasting plant could be implemented in São Paulo, close to the main warehouses. Talking about marketing and sales, Costa has significantly increased the marketing investments, staying focused in digital platforms. According to Euromonitor, social media is the main player on mass media sector to attract and engage Brazilian customers. Talking about the service, Vibrate's annual report demonstrates Costa's ability to provide quality customer service, and the ratio of 87% of customers revisit the Costa coffee shop. So, Brazilian's population is widely known as a friendly nation and expected to be treated in the same way.
To understand how our strategy fits, we will work on the SFE analysis. And there are three aspects on them. So the first one is suitability. That sees Brazil as a big market with over 200 million as a population. The third wave of coffee chain that explains why people are asking for better quality of coffee. Customers are willing to pay more. There is predicted market growth, as previously said, and relatively low investment costs as working as franchises. Acceptability, and then there is a cultural fit, low investment costs again, so the shareholders would accept it, lower labor regulations, easy access to funds from the parent company and loans, and diversification of income after Brexit. As a feasibility, we'll have that Starbucks plans to expand its business in Brazil. Market expansion of Starbucks in other Latin American countries known for coffee, such as Colombia. And third, Starbucks' failure in Australia is due to two factors. So one is customers were not willing to pay more, and second is the culture of having coffee at home, and this is a different scenario from Brazil. So, as you can see, we have two main drivers for the internationalization. One of them is the market driver, which will have similar customer needs and global customers. This means that the same needs that they have in the UK, they will have in Brazil, and also that everyone consumers get coffee beans and coffee all over the world. So this is an advantage that we have. And then cost is that we can apply the scale economy and favorable logistics. The international strategy that we have applied is the multi-domestic strategy, because going to Brazil we will need to have a customized product and also a customized marketing. In Brazil, for example, you individuals eat shredded cheese ball, which is very national, and also guaraná and açaí, traditional Brazilian drinks. So this is a very important aspect. And then third, we have the Port National's Diamond Framework. An effective condition, we would say that we have a favorable natural environment, capital, and human resources, as Brazil is known for the coffee and has the human capital to work on it and the knowledge. Demand conditions, we can see that there is an increase in demand for growth, innovation, and quality of the coffee shops in Brazil. Third, related and support industries. We will apply by having partnerships with local suppliers, libraries, malls, and financial centers to have to concentrate and have our own clients. And fourth is strategy, structure, and rivalry. It's a very high competitive market, as we can see, but there is still a bridge for innovation and expansion for other markets and other states in Brazil. So, wrapping all the information that we have provided, we'll have some recommendations for Costa Coffee. The first of them, and starting from the bottom, is the quality customer service. Brazilians are friendly and they need people that are prepared to serve them in that way. Second, the loyalty program. We need to be able to identify the customer needs in Brazil and what they are consuming so we can improve it and be more efficient. And then partnerships with libraries, malls, and financial centers. So basically excluding Starbucks from having clients in those areas. Roasting facilities and chew warehouses for next day deliveries. By applying this, we will be able to be more efficient and reduce costs in logistics. Local Brazilian coffee beans, also related to reducing costs, but also we can help reducing the cost for other branches consuming more from the Brazilian coffee beans. Franchising, which will also be a very low investment for the parent company. Expansion to new markets and states. As we said previously, there is a space for a growth in the northern and south of Brazil, unexplored spaces by Starbucks. And then this everything actually, it's comprising in a low-cost strategy that we should apply and would allow Costa to be a success in Brazil.